All right, let's set the scene. You close the door, you hear the jingle of your keys, and you head out for the day. And in your mind, you've probably got this picture, right? Your dog lets out a little dramatic sigh, then curls up for a long, peaceful nap. I mean, it's the comforting story we all tell ourselves. But what if the moment that door locks, a completely silent and invisible psychological drama kicks off? What if what we call loyalty is actually something much, much darker? Just look at this. On one side, you've got our story, the one that makes us feel good. And on the other side, the potential reality that's being captured on thousands of home cameras every single day. This is the mystery we're gonna unravel together. That gap, the space between what we hope is happening and what might really be going on, that's where the hidden truth about our dogs is hiding. You know, we've all seen those viral videos, right? The dog sitting perfectly still by the door for hours on end. And we call it devotion, we call it loyalty, but modern canine neuroscience is telling us that this statue-like behavior is often the very first silent alarm bell. So that brings us to our first signal, what's called the silent freeze. So what exactly is this freeze? Well, it's a state known as hypervigilance. Try to imagine this. Your dog's entire nervous system is just redlining. Their heart rate is skyrocketing to a level you'd see during a full-on sprint. But their body? It's completely motionless, paralyzed. They are not calm. They are trapped in a state of high alert survival. And this quote, it nails it perfectly. It's a physiological paradox. Think about that. An internal wildfire of pure panic, completely masked by an external frost of stillness. That one sentence just captures the heartbreaking reality of what that patiently waiting dog is actually experiencing. It's not peace. It's a silent panic attack. Now, what's really fascinating here are the tiny details you can spot if you just look closely enough on your camera. Their muscles are totally rigid. Their ears are pinned back or just locked forward listening. But here's the biggest clue. Sensory shutdown. In this state, a dog's brain literally filters out the entire world. You know that favorite toy or that tasty treat you left out for them? They can't even see it. Their vision has narrowed into a tunnel, focused on one thing and one thing only, the door. And the long-term cost of this is pretty severe. This daily state of high alert causes a huge surge in the stress hormone cortisol. And day after day, this basically acts like a slow drip poison. It can impact their memory, their ability to regulate emotions. This isn't just about them having a bad afternoon. It's a chronic health issue in the making. But here's the thing. The brain can't stay at that level of tension forever. It's just not sustainable. So as we're about to see, this silent paralysis eventually has to shift into something else, something even stranger. These active, repetitive rituals that are actually desperate attempts at self-medication.
So when you see your dog just obsessively licking their paws or grooming the same spot over and over, it's so easy to just assume they're bored. But these are what are known as displacement behaviors. That repetitive motion actually triggers the release of endorphins, the body's own natural painkillers. So in essence, your dog is literally self-dosing to try and numb the terrifying psychological void of being alone.
So this is the really crucial part, this escalation. It all starts with the silent panic of the freeze. Then, when that just becomes unbearable, it moves on to self-medication through licking. And when even that isn't enough to dull the pain, it escalates to the final and maybe most honking signal of all, the escape paradox.
You might see your dog walking a very specific, unchanging path in your house, over and over and over again. This is not just them getting some exercise. That figure-8 pacing, it's a stereotyped behavior. It's something we often see in captive wild animals in zoos, a condition so well known it actually has a name, zoochosis. It's the physical sign of a broken logic loop in their brain, a desperate attempt to solve the unsolvable problem of how to escape.
And this leads us to the most difficult part of this whole equation. It's a truly uncomfortable truth that we kind of have to face. What if the source of all this anxiety is actually us? What if our love is the trigger? Just let that sink in for a second. That whole 10-minute ritual of hugging and kissing and whispering, "I'll be back soon." It's not comforting them. It's actually spiking their anxiety levels right before you vanish, basically signaling to them that something huge and scary is about to happen. This whole phenomenon is called energy residue. What you're doing is you're essentially revving their emotional engine up to its absolute limit, and then you just suddenly yank the key out of the ignition. You're leaving them with this massive spike of adrenaline and absolutely nowhere for it to go. And that energy, it has to burn off somehow. It turns into that frantic pacing, that destructive behavior. So, by making our goodbyes and even our hellos a huge event, we are, without meaning to, teaching them that our absence is a catastrophe. And then our excited greetings when we get home, that just confirms their worst fears. See, you were right to be terrified. Thank goodness we both survived that ordeal. It just creates this vicious, vicious cycle. So, okay, if our affection is the problem, then what on earth is the solution? It's not about being cold to them. It's about communicating in a language they can actually understand. And this brings us to the practical, actionable fix, the 30-minute silence ritual. And it's surprisingly simple, really. For 15 minutes before you leave, you basically become emotionally invisible. No talking, no touching, zero eye contact. Then you just calmly leave without a single word. And when you come back, you do the exact same thing. You ignore them for the first 15 minutes, just until they're completely calm and settled. The logic here is all about breaking a really deeply ingrained pattern in your dog's brain. Right now for them, the sound of that door locking is the trigger for panic. By taking all of that emotional energy out of your departures and arrivals, you're not just leaving quietly. You are actively rewiring their brain. You're teaching them that being alone is normal, it's predictable, it's safe, it's not a disaster. And I absolutely love this line because it sounds so wrong, but it's so right. You are effectively boring your dog into a state of security. You're showing them that your coming and going is the single most uninteresting, uneventful part of their day. And in doing that, you're giving them the greatest gift of all, a quiet, peaceful mind. So that brings us to the real question, doesn't it? What is your dog doing? The next time you leave, I want you to check your camera. What is the very first thing they do the moment that door clicks shut? Do they freeze? Do they start pacing? Let us know what you see in the comments, because understanding their pain is truly the first step to healing it.